Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lived a young girl named Rapunzel. She was known for her long, golden hair that shimmered like sunlight and cascaded down her back in beautiful waves. But Rapunzel's life was not one of freedom and joy. She had been locked away in a tall, isolated tower by a wicked sorceress named Gothel. Rapunzel was taken from her parents as a baby, after Gothel discovered that the child's hair had magical properties. It could heal the sick, restore youth, and grant strength. Wanting this power all to herself, Gothel imprisoned Rapunzel, raising her in the tower, telling her that the outside world was dangerous and cruel. Rapunzel believed Gothel, and spent her days in the tower, brushing her hair, singing to the birds, and dreaming of the outside world. Years passed, and Rapunzel's hair grew longer and longer, until it was so long that it could reach the bottom of the tower. Each day, Gothel would call from below, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel would toss her braid out the window, allowing Gothel to climb up. One day, a young prince named Frederick was riding through the forest, chasing the sound of a beautiful voice that floated on the breeze. He followed the melody until he reached the base of the tower, where he saw Rapunzel singing to herself, her golden hair streaming down the walls. Mesmerized by her beauty and the sadness in her song, the prince vowed to meet her. When Gothel left the tower the next morning, Frederick watched her call for Rapunzel to let down her hair. As soon as Gothel was out of sight, Frederick tried the same approach. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," he called. Curious and startled by the unfamiliar voice, Rapunzel let down her braid. When Frederick climbed up and entered the tower, Rapunzel was frightened at first, but she soon realized that he was kind and meant her no harm. The two talked for hours, and Rapunzel learned of the world beyond the tower. Frederick told her about the stars, the villages, the rivers, and the great palaces. Rapunzel's heart swelled with longing, and a deep bond grew between them. For the next several days, Frederick visited Rapunzel in secret, bringing stories, flowers, and hope. They hatched a plan for Rapunzel to escape the tower, but before they could put it into action, Gothel discovered their secret meetings. Furious, Gothel cut off Rapunzel's long hair and banished her to a far-off desert. Then, using the cut braid, Gothel tricked Frederick into climbing the tower one last time. When he reached the top, she pushed him, causing him to fall into a thorny bush, which blinded him. Heartbroken and unable to see, Frederick wandered the forest for months, calling out for Rapunzel. Meanwhile, Rapunzel lived alone in the desert, her heart heavy with sorrow, but she never stopped thinking of Frederick. One day, as Frederick stumbled through the wilderness, he heard a familiar voice singing. He followed the sound until he found Rapunzel. Overcome with emotion, he called her name, and Rapunzel ran to him. She wept as she embraced him, and her tears, filled with the magic of her love, healed his blindness. Frederick could see again, and together they made their way back to his kingdom. They were welcomed with open arms, and soon they were married in a grand celebration. Rapunzel's life of isolation was over, and she and Frederick ruled the kingdom with kindness and wisdom.